How's it going, everyone? In this video I want to cover a big free-to-play weekend that is kicking off very shortly. Very new game getting a free-to-play weekend, and one that you could complete over the weekend. We'll talk about that, and a discount if you do want to buy the game. Another discount on a pretty notable title, and we'll talk Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. That preload is live right now. Reviews are rolling out right now as well. Plague Tale Requiem might be coming very soon, and The Wolf Among Us 2 is going to be accessible to newcomers as well. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But first up, Far Cry 6, free weekend for this game starting on March 24th. So you can start playing this tomorrow, and that is pretty great, all things considered, given the fact that Far Cry 6 is still a relatively new release. It came out back in October, I believe, end of October. The game itself, you know, follows a lot of the typical Far Cry formula, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I thought the story was fairly strong, and there's a ton of content in the game. Look, you can complete the game within the weekend if you're playing like a lot of it every day. However, if you want 100% Far Cry 6, just like every other Far Cry game, that's going to be more of a sizable undertaking. But yeah, that's pretty nice that you do get to check out the game. They are also doing a crossover event, I believe, with Stranger Things, so that's something as well. Far Cry 6 and all of its DLC are free for the weekend, by the way, to try out. Obviously, you don't own the game, but you can try it out for the weekend, and if you do want to ultimately pick up the game, you can do so as well. The preload for the free weekend is live right now, so you can preload Far Cry 6, and then when the free weekend goes live, you can jump right in and start playing the game, so that's quite nice. You can also go online and play it that way as well. But again, you're looking at a pretty lengthy experience if you're trying to do everything, but if you're trying to rush through the main story, you can actually complete it in a weekend, you know, if you are playing it a decent bit every day. As far as the game itself, it's discounted 50% over on the PlayStation Store for $29.99. That's a pretty good price, and I believe that's a new low for Far Cry 6 on the PlayStation Store. It usually was going down to like 36 bucks, which was a fine deal as well. You know, a new game being down sub $40 is always not a bad pickup. However, if you want to get it even cheaper than that, over on Amazon, the game is down to $22.50, which might be a new low on Amazon. I don't remember if the game was down in $19.99. It definitely was down to $23, so if that is correct, it would be beating out the previous low by 50 cents. But $22.50 for Far Cry 6, I think, is a banger of a deal. I mean, if your backlog isn't crazy right now, and that is a big if, check out Far Cry 6. I think you can have some fun with it, but really this is a game if your backlog is clear right now, because yes, while $22.50 is a great price, if you're not going to get to it for like 6 to 9 months, probably a good chance it's gonna hit like $15 to $18 within that time period, so that is something to consider as well. And honestly, I know, based on reading some of the comments, some of you guys probably have wild backlogs that you guys just keep adding to, and I get it, sometimes I do that as well, but sometimes it's also not very advantageous, unless you're scoring a really, really killer deal. And while this is a very good deal, this is still a very recent game, so as time goes on, recent releases are just gonna go lower and lower in price until they hit the basement, and for a lot of games, usually that basement is $10 to $15, and Far Cry 6, while it's a new game, and while it's getting cheaper very quickly, it has not hit its basement price point yet. What has hit its basement price point, probably on the physical side of things, is Middle-earth: Shadow of War, the Definitive Edition. $9.99 over on Amazon. It doesn't even look like this is a discount. I don't even know if this is just the MSRP, but I was browsing Amazon and I saw that deal and I was like, hey, that's something worth mentioning in a video. When this goes on sale, it's $8.99 on the PlayStation Store, so you're paying $1 more for the physical version, but sometimes them's the breaks. You gotta pay a little bit more for the physical version. Sometimes the physical versions are a little bit cheaper, like the case with Far Cry 6. But Middle-earth: Shadow of War is a very good game. The Definitive Edition also does include a ton of additional content. I thought this was a stronger game than Shadow of Mordor, and I love Shadow of Mordor. Shadow of Mordor was one of my favorite early games on the PlayStation 4, but I thought Shadow of War just improved upon it in nearly every area, so $9.99 for that is a great deal, and I would highly recommend that. Talking about preloads, Far Cry 6 free weekend preload is live. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands preload is also live right now. That is coming to Xbox One, Xbox Series, PS4, PS5, and the reviews are rolling out as well. I just read IGN's review. I just, like, glimpsed through it, and they gave it an 8 out of 10. Seems like, you know, it's pretty much what a lot of us expected. The comedy is there. It's a spin-off, but it's staying true to the gameplay roots of Borderlands, which, if you're a fan of Borderlands, you're probably gonna enjoy it. It passes prologue, as I've mentioned in previous videos. Borderlands 3 got cheap pretty quickly, so I don't know if that's gonna be the case with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Honestly, more often than not, games get cheaper than they don't pretty quickly. So if your backlog is full, again, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands might be one that you want to skip out on for now. But yeah, if you're a big Borderlands fan, by all means, it sounds like it's got great comedy, and the different setting, I think, is pretty cool. This is one that I'm going to pass on for most likely for now. We'll see within the coming days how my game library of what I'm playing shakes out, if I can complete some games and whatnot. But yeah, definitely down the line, I think it's going to be, you know, at that $20 price threshold by the end of the year probably, and I think at that point it's going to be a really good pickup. But for me, I'm going to wait on this one. Alright, next up, A Plague Tale Requiem trophy list and potential release date revealed. This is coming from the PlayStation Network store database. It listed for May 17, 2022, so that is right around the corner, and honestly would make a pretty lukewarm quarter 2 a lot better. May 17th is a Tuesday. Tuesday is traditionally one of the days where games are released. It's usually Tuesday or Friday, so lines up there. Trophies are what they are. It's pretty standard stuff. Looks like it's fairly similar to the original Plague Tale, which, by the way, if you haven't played that, I would highly recommend you to go back and play that. That game was excellent, and Plague Tale Requiem looks to be a solid follow-up to that. Very atmospheric, very narrative-driven title that I thought was very, very well done. A darker game as well, so definitely not for the faint of heart. If you're looking for a more jovial story, A Plague Tale Innocence nor A Plague Tale Requiem is really going to be that, but if you're looking for a heartfelt, emotional, grim story, Plague Tale does a really good job, and I'm excited for this one coming May 17th. By the looks of it, based on the database, also coming Xbox Game Pass, so you can play it that way as well. Lastly, Wolf Among Us 2. Thank the heavens, it is finally happening. I was a little bit worried when everything went down with Telltale that we would never get a follow-up to The Wolf Among Us. One of, if not the best game Telltale has ever put out, in my opinion. Honestly, I'd rank it number 1, 1A, 1B maybe, with Walking Dead Season 1. I always go back and forth with those two, but Wolf Among Us is usually the one I put at the top. It was noted, we strive to design our narratives so they can stand on their own. This is coming from Telltale CEO Jamie Ottley to Edge Magazine when talking about The Wolf Among Us Season 2. We think the opening of the first episode sets things up in such a way that the player understands how the characters got where they are now. Some of you guys might be wondering, hey, like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Why should Wolf Among Us 2 be easily accessible? You gotta remember, Wolf Among Us Season 1 came out back in 2013, and Telltale does a relatively decent job to make their games accessible right out of the get-go. I would recommend always playing those games, especially when it came to, like, The Walking Dead. Like, if you were just jumping into Walking Dead Season 2, I don't know about that one. I thought Walking Dead Season 2 was great as well. But, like, I would play them sequentially, and Wolf Among Us, easy platinum trophy, baby, there as well. And it's a fantastic game with a pretty interesting ending, and it'll be interesting to see how they follow it up, or, you know, what the story and narrative is in Wolf Among Us 2. By the way, from a visual standpoint, mentioned this before when we briefly talked about this game, holy hell, Telltale has really leveled up in terms of their visual presentation, and Wolf Among Us Season 2 looks fantastic from a graphic style standpoint. Remember, Wolf Among Us 1 was on the PlayStation 3, so we're going back a ways ago when that game came out, but now we have Wolf Among Us 2, and I think the facial animations look great. I think the attention to detail looks great. And, yeah, it looks very, very good, and hopefully it's a solid follow-up, and hopefully Telltale can keep the momentum rolling with subsequent future titles that they do work on. But nice to see this will be accessible for those of you that don't want to go back and play the original, although I would highly recommend you to do so. On sale, you can get that game for like $3.74 or like $5.99 during a PlayStation Store sale. It's definitely worth your time and money. But that's going to do it for me. Far Cry 6 getting a free weekend coming up starting tomorrow. If you want the game on sale, $30 on the PlayStation Store, $22.50 over on Amazon. Middle-earth Shadow of War, wanted to mention that deal as well, thought that was quite good. Tiny Tina's reviews coming out, that'll be available on March 23rd. A Plague Tale Requiem will be available hopefully on May 17th. That's what the PSN Store's database is listing, but the trophy list is out as well. I'm not going to go through that, but yeah, May 17 looking like that could be the date, and Wolf Among Us 2 will be accessible to newcomers of the franchise. However, I would highly, highly recommend you to go and play Wolf Among Us 1. It was a fantastic narrative-driven Telltale title. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.